Okay, so I just poured my lye into the water. I put 2 tablespoons of salt in the water. I dissolved the salt in the water first. And then I put the measured amount of lye in. And now I'm stirring with a stainless steel spoon in a heat-safe plastic container. Dissolve my lye. And then I'm going to let this cool down and we'll come back. I just emulsified and got a bit of a trace here. So my oils are ready. My batter is very green because I used the olive oil I used is very green. It also has avocado oil and it's very, very light trace. I tend to over trace it, so I'm trying not to. And now that I'm at trace, I am going to add, I have 2 teaspoons of powdered goat milk, and I hydrated it with an ounce or less of aloe juice. Aloe juice that I bought. It comes in a bottle. It's a liquid. So this is goat milk and aloe juice. That's going to go to inside the whole batter. So I'm going to pour that in. And we're going to mix that super well. It's important that that gets mixed in very well. Get rid of that. So I did all the lye steps in the sink. I always like to do those in the sink. I can feel this batter getting thicker and thicker. So I'll just stir it up. I'm scared to put the stick blender in it anymore. Okay, and I have a tall and skinny mold here, a silicone mold that's waiting. So now we have olive oil, coconut oil, there's castor oil, what else? Oh, I put a little mango and a little shea. A little mango and a little shea. And I just stirred in the aloe and the goat milk powder. And now I need to divide up my batter. This is 2 pounds. 2 pounds here, and I need to divide up my batter. Here I have a little bit of palm kernel oil that I didn't include in my oils. It's a very tiny amount. And for colorant, I have purple Brazilian clay. Purple Brazilian clay. And I put a little bit of essential oil in there. So we're going to throw that in. We can get that incorporated. Getting the last bit of my purple clay. And it looks like it's going to be very light. That's okay. I wanted it to be very light. We'll see if it's too light or not. Last time I did clay soap, I got too much clay. So I'm going conservative this time. And we're going to pour that into the tall and skinny mold here. This tall and skinny mold that I bought off Amazon tends to bow out and lose shape, so I have it reinforced. get the air bubbles out. And I want to get it flat because I'm going to show the pencil line next. Okay, so for the pencil line, you want a very fine powder, and you don't want to cover the whole layer so that you can't see the soap beneath. And so today we're going to do a pencil line with a little bit of gold mica. And so I'm going to put it right in the middle here of my strainer. And we're just going to lightly tap it. And I'm at a strange angle because of the video. And it's looking like I didn't estimate quite enough. And so I'm going to get more. I'm hoping everybody can see that. Over here. Oh, I put it right here. Okay. So this is I have at least two gold micas. I have one from Brambleberry that's a heavy metal gold, and this is does it say Mad Oils or Mad Micas? They changed their name. They're very popular. Nurture Soap is also very popular for micas and glitter. I tend to use a lot of natural colorants, but I am partial to gold. I'm a real random sloper, and I'm not the neatest, but we're doing good. Okay, so that's our pencil line, and what we want to try to do is preserve it. So we have to be real careful when we put on the next layer. And my batter is getting thick. Which might be okay. But I need to let this batter set up a little more. So we're back. And hopefully our pencil line has had a few minutes to set up. If it's not set up enough, we're going to have a wavy pencil line. I've only had I've only done pencil line maybe 3 times. And usually it's pretty straight, but I've never gotten it perfectly straight like I've seen some other soapers do. So what we're going to do, so this is this batter has a little bit of French green clay in it and a little bit of essential oils. I use some citrus essential oils for summer. So I'm going to see if I can get it to pour on my spatula so that it distributes the batter and doesn't break through. But it's really thick and it's not pouring very well. So I'm going to give it a little bit of help. It seems to be holding. My pencil line seems to be holding. That's our French green clay layer. Tap it out. Sorry for the noise. In the next layer, we're going to put a little bit of rose clay. And the rose clay, we're going to try to swirl the rose clay. So we have the pencil line it's going to be near the bottom of the soap. And now we're going to put rose clay in. And I diluted my clays. I prepped them with some apricot kernel oil, because I just bought that to try, so I wanted to use it. And water also. So clays absorb water and oil, and so some people will tell you to prepare your clays with both water and oil. Especially bentonite. Bentonite absorbs and balls up, so you want to be really careful that you don't get balls of bentonite. It's hard to incorporate. Okay, so this is going to give us a little bit of a red tint, and I'm going to spoon this in the middle. I really like olive oil in soap, and I really like avocado at a lower percentage. My favorite soap so far, I think, had the fresh avocado puree, but I didn't use puree tonight because it adds another element of complexity. And this is my very first video, my very first soaping video. Save a little bit for the top, maybe. Now I think I'm gonna put the plain batter on top of that. A little different angle I'm reaching over here, so excuse my awkwardness. In, almost have so when I first started soaping, I did at least a dozen batches without any scents, mainly using charcoal, because charcoal doesn't really mess with the batter. It won't thicken your batter or so if you're going to use scents, it's a good idea to really research them. Make sure they're not going to speed up trace or seize, or make sure they work. Okay, so which swirl should we do? Okay, so I made up my own swirl. So we can do a couple of different swirls. Let me tap this down.
There's stuff on the spoon.
That's okay. It's okay. There's a little clay on the spoon. That's okay. I'm gonna show you. I wonder, can they see this whole loaf?
No.
Which side can they see?
You're right.
Okay. So I'm gonna show you a spoon loaf. I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna dip the spoon in, and see how it grabs some of the red clay. Hopefully it's not down into the pencil line. I'm not trying to go that deep. Okay, so we did a spoon swirl on that side. And then I'm going to turn it around. And I'm going to show you another easy swirl. I'm going to show you the chopstick swirl. So the chopstick swirl, you take your chopstick, you put it at a big angle, and you go down and scoop up. So I can see this other color soap, so I know it did something. It's not going to be the fanciest swirl in the world, but that could be another video. Okay, I'm going to tap that down. So we did a spoon swirl and a chopstick swirl, and now we just have a little bit of batter to play with. I have some of the green clay batter. Green is very light, but we'll see. You can't really tell until the soap is saponified to see what colors you're getting. But I was going for a very pastel look. So this is going to be our top. Almost have all this. So I was originally going to do hot process, but hot press videos are at least a half-hour long. And there's really some good ones on the internet, so I didn't think I could do hot process justice. I have my daughter here helping me with video, and I didn't think she would be patient enough to do a hot process one. Okay, so that's our green on top. And now we're going to put the rest of our... this is rose kaolin clay. And I used all the purple on the bottom. I'm going to run that down the middle. You can also put some half on one side and half on the other side. Lots of things you can do to the top. I don't have the signature style texture top yet. I like to use a lot of soft oils, and so my soaps were like really soft, and I wasn't getting a lot of texture on the top until recently. Okay, so now I'm gonna use the chopstick. Okay, first let's tap it down a little bit. And then I'm going to go across, back, and I don't know if you can see it yet, but when I get down there you're going to be able to see it. I hear our little dog behind us. And then I'm going to go. Now my chopstick isn't all the way in, it's only maybe a ½ inch in. And I think I'm liking, now you can get fancier, but I think I'm liking this little gentle swirl. Chanel, what do you think? You like that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just, I can give it a little more angle if I keep going around the perimeter. Soap Queen has some nice tips and videos for swirls, and there's, you know, endless ones on YouTube. Okay, so there we are, we're all done. And then we can put a little more of the glitter on the top maybe. We can also add it later. I have a little bit on this paper towel. But I think we're all done. Okay. Hello soapers, we're back. So we were soaping late last night. It's now almost lunchtime the following day. I did insulate the soap and I gelled it. I gelled it in a warm oven that was off overnight. So it's nice and hard. I can tell it's ready because the mold pulls away cleanly. And so we're going to try to unmold it before your very eyes right now. So you want to gently pull the sides away. And then we're going to turn it over. And if it's ready, it's going to break. You want to put some light pressure on the back. And it should break the suction and come out fairly easily. If it's not quite hard enough, then it has a harder time. But I feel it breaking now. And so I'm breaking the suction all the way down the loaf. And it did release. And I can grab it now and try to pull it out. Come on. It's almost there. There we go. Okay, so you can see here's a layer. Here's a pencil line. Another layer, and then hopefully this will be our swirl layer. And I put a little gold on the top. And it's a tall and skinny mold. It's not very tall. It's pretty skinny, but it's not very tall. It's not exactly what I expected when I ordered it. So I'm going to put it in my little humble soap cutter here. And there's different ways you can cut. So originally, I used a soap cutter like this, and these work fine. These work great. You can also use a knife. You can just use a nice knife. And then I was looking, everybody was going crazy about the bud cutters. And I didn't want to spend money on a bud cutter. But basically a bud cutter uses, oops, earthquake, it's California. A bud cutter uses a wire like this. And I saw another soaper who also teaches online classes. And she used a string and a cutter like this. And so I bought one. And I really like it. So we're going to do a cut. I turn it sideways like this. And I rest the wire on one edge or the other. And just go all the way down. And we'll see what we get here. Okay, so we have a little pencil line here. And just my colors are very faint. They're probably going to develop a little more, the colors, but you can see how clean the cut is. So we'll do a few more cuts because they're all going to be different. I started out doing 1-inch soaps, and now I'm trying 1.5 inches because I like a chunkier bar. There's the top. It's a very subtle swirl, not a lot of swirling action. Didn't have a lot of space in my mold to swirl.
So let's cut one more on camera. Sometimes there's better swirls in the middle. There's some nice layers there. I have done pencil lines in the past where the pencil line was so thick and the layers came apart. So I was probably too conservative on my little gold pencil line there. But at least you got to see the process. I did powdered coffee before, and my layers came apart. And it was just, I put it on too thick. Okay, so I don't know, I like it. It's a really nice recipe. I used olive oil, coconut oil, shea butter, mango, olive, avocado, castor, and rice bran oil. Because I like a very kind of spa bar type bar. I want to show you my dirty dishes. Okay, so what I did was I left all my dirty dishes. And now it's saponified, so the oils have saponified, and I just have to clean up the soap. I can scrape the soap out and save it for scraps. If I have enough, I can heat it and, you know, either make a little soap ball, or sometimes I have enough to make a little tiny soap. Okay, so if you have any questions, go ahead and post below, and we'll try to answer them. Thanks.